Hello bakers! Today I thought I would make these summer rhubarb and strawberry crisp bars. They're by Anna Jones. I have all of her cookbooks and they're incredible. I'd highly recommend them. She only has a few bacon recipes, but the rest of them are just incredible. They're vegetarian and lovely. I think this can actually be made vegan, but I'm going to be using butter and also using rhubarb and only a few strawberries. With this, she says you can kind of really vary up, and I make these a lot. They're super easy. They're kind of like a bit of a flapjack, and you just mix it all together, but it's got lots of fruit in it and they feel a bit healthier and they're delicious. So I've rummaged through the freezer and I've got out some fruit and like some berries, hence having kind of berry juice under my nails. But so I'm going to do a mix of frozen fruit and yeah, so and you need coconut oil or butter, oats, spelt flour. I'm just going to do plain flour, coconut sugar. I'm actually doing brown sugar with some caster sugar, and then I've made up about 500 grams of mixed fruit. And I'm also not doing a lemon, despite faffing about with the recipe. It does come out really well. So, okay, let's get baking. I have to say, apologies if I sound a bit snotty. It's hay fever season here in London, so. Okay, so first up, I'm weighing out the butter and I'm going to melt that. It's very similar to a flapjack recipe, so you don't need a stand mixer, you don't need any special equipment. You just melt the butter, and I think I used unsalted here. And then once that's melted, you add in the rest of the ingredients. That's pretty much all there is. So I'm putting in rolled oats here, and I'm just seeing if there's anything else you can add, which doesn't say. So rolled oats, and then I'm adding plain flour. The recipe has spelt flour, but I'm adding plain. Also, by the way, sorry if you can hear like building works in the background. Keeping it real, snotty and drills. And then I'm adding some brown sugar. In the recipe she says you can have coconut sugar or brown sugar. So I'm adding brown, which I ran out of, so I topped it up with caster sugar. It's a very forgiving recipe. And then that was a pinch of salt, I believe, and then you mix it all together. The recipe is online, so I will make sure I link that down below, and I would really recommend it. It's super easy. This is pretty much all there is to it. So you mix it all together, and then once there's kind of no obvious dry bits, you scoop out about 6 spoons worth of this kind of like crumbly buttery topping. So yeah, that goes on top. Which you don't do in a flapjack, but it's got this kind of berry middle, so it's super nice. So I've got my baking tray there, which I've lined, which just makes it a bit easier to get out of the tin. And then I'm putting all of that mixture, except for the topping, into that, and then I will squidge it down so it's got like a nice firm base. It gets baked in the oven. I think it's about 190 fan. So I think it takes about 40 minutes. But before that, you can squidge it all down. Get right into the corners. I think there's always something very satisfying about squidging things. And then you add the berries. I think in the recipe she actually has you kind of add a bit of sugar and lemon and mix it together, but I found I've not needed to do that. I've also used frozen fruit straight from the freezer, and it's been perfectly fine. But I had quite a lot of like berries and currants, and they can ooze quite a bit. So I decided to like get them out a little bit earlier so some of that liquid could drain off. And I thought my strawberries were looking Can you hear that drilling? Goodness, I'm so sorry. I thought the strawberries were looking quite big, so I decided to cut them up a bit. And then I just space it out so it looks fairly even. And then you top with the kind of crumble oaty topping that we put to one side earlier. So this recipe, like I said, was meant to be like rhubarb and strawberry, but as you can see here, I've got blackberries and blueberries and currants and strawberries. It's really, really adaptable and super easy, and you don't have to even throw oats on the table like I was doing. And then in the oven, 40 minutes, and it's done. You let it cool in the tin for a little bit. I actually think I let it cool pretty much the entire time. And then once it's cooled, cut it into squares and you're good to go. It keeps in the fridge for about 4 or 5 days, and it also freezes really well, and it's perfect for picnics. I've taken this to 2 picnics already this year. I'm mortified to say that I ate this pretty much immediately, so I forgot to take a picture of this one, but I will add a picture of another time that I've baked it, and I had cherries in it, so you can kind of see what it looks like. But yeah, highly recommend. I hope you liked it. I'd recommend Anna Jones's books anyway. And yeah, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you next week.